If you like to collect cool, nostalgic things like I do, you might like this.
Remember this classic phone? Good old rotary phones from back in the day when it took forever just to dial a phone number, and God forbid you made a mistake and had to start all over again. But just remember that sound, close your eyes and listen to this. And with a cord that's that short, you had no privacy whatsoever. But there was something good about these phones versus today's phones, and that's when you got into an argument with somebody. There was nothing like hanging up, slamming one of these things down. I mean, you would never do that with your phone now. You can't not gonna throw it on the ground, or it takes too long to try to find the end button. But boy, these things were great. I mean, check this out. This really sent the message home. You know what I mean? Remember these back in the day? These were those glass style grapes that just about everybody had on their coffee table. It's not a bad decorative item, kind of bulky, but still pretty cool nonetheless. And most of these grapes were right next to a good old ashtray. Even if you didn't smoke and your company came over, everybody had one of these ready to go. Remember these digital flip clocks? Back in the 70's and 80's, these were extremely popular. Since we don't have all day to wait, let me just turn it right there. Remember that? Crazy. And you actually had a radio on it, but you had to use your fingers, and there's the volume, and hey, it's playing an old song. Very cool. I'll bet you had a pair of these back in the day, back when flip-flops were actually called thongs. This particular style was really popular. We all had them back in the 70's and 80's. Remember these old telephone keychains? They're actually rotary. Remember the original digital watches? This one I have is still in the box from Texas Instruments. This is back when you had to push the button to get the time, and then one for the date. Remember 45 records? These were awesome. Think about it, now we just click. But this is what we had to do back in the day to listen to a song. Remember the little inserts we put inside to have to play them? Remember 8 tracks? Boston, actual 8 tracks. These were crazy too. I loved it when a song would stop on one track and then start back up on another. Remember good old cassette tapes? Memorex. These are still in the package. Great stuff. Back when you tried to record your favorite song on the radio and just hope and pray that the DJ would shut up and not talk over it. Remember gumball machines? Everybody had one of these growing up. This one is over 50 years old. This is, maybe put your penny in there, swing it over, and all your little gumballs would come out. Remember good old Viewmasters? Boy, these things were fun. I should get the little thing. This one is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Put that in there, and then you aim it towards the light, otherwise it was totally useless. Remember jacks? Just about everybody had jacks, including myself, but I never took the time to figure out how to play the game. Of course, I did figure out they hurt like hell when you step on them. Remember good old marbles? Just about everybody had marbles too. I never really played with them too much, but I definitely had them. Hello. Remember these old squirt guns back in the day? The only downside is they're only good for a couple squirts. Remember these things? It was always fun when you draw a picture and you couldn't wait to show your parents. But before you got to show it to them, your sibling would come over and just erase it like that. Remember good old yo-yos, especially Duncan yo-yos? These were very popular back in the day, lots of fun to play with. Remember this old Matchbox Fire Chief car? How these things looked back in the day and the little guy inside. Remember the original Star Wars figures from 1977? Just about everybody had these things. Remember Micronaut Time Travelers? These action figures came out in 1976 and were very popular, primarily due to their clear plastic, but also their maneuverability. Remember these old Fisher-Price toys? Now, I'm sure you didn't play with them, neither did I. But you probably had a baby brother or sister that did, and these were laying around the house. Good old silly putty. Now we take this stuff out of it. This stuff actually still works, and it's older than dirt. Now we take this and put them on the newspapers. Couldn't wait to look at it. Of course, do they even make newspapers anymore? Remember these old cap bombs? You put the cap right in there, and you twist it up, and throw it in the air, and boom. Remember these mini NFL football helmets out of gumball machines back in the 70s? These were a lot of fun to collect when you went to the grocery store with your folks. The neat thing about them is that a lot of the logos have changed since then. Like, this is no longer the Patriots logo, it's changed. Not to mention some of the teams are no longer even here, like the Houston Oilers. Remember the candies that we used to eat back in the day? Hey, who could forget good old Astro Pops? These things were great. I wasn't really a big fan of Neckos, or these delicious coconut bars, but oh, who could forget candy cigarettes? Boy, nothing like getting you excited at a young age for cigarettes, huh? Smoke up, Johnny. Remember when you couldn't wait to get the toy out of the cereal box? This particular toy is from an old cereal called Freakies. They were popular in the 70s, been discontinued a long time ago, but they came out with these and magnets. They were really popular at the time. I remember I couldn't wait to see what I was gonna get. Remember wacky packages? Those stickers that made fun of popular products. These were really popular in the 70s and 80s, and everybody was collecting them. This particular one is from actually 1979, unopened. Of course, the gum didn't quite make it, but I'll bet it's just as hard to chew now as it was back then. Remember these little garbage cans? Candy actually came inside, like little fishbone type candy, but it was these were really popular back in the day. Remember the little Chew Bops albums? They were just gum records with famous album covers back in the day. This was obviously Blondie. These were fun to collect. Remember these mini baseball caps that we would get ice cream or hot fudge sundaes, whatever inside, and then we'd try to collect the caps? These were fun to collect, and not to mention eating the ice cream. Remember bringing your lunchbox to school back in the day? This is my Adam 12 TV show from the 70s lunchbox. Pretty good shape overall, scratched up of course and rusty, but let's not forget the most important thing, the thermos. Oh boy, remember these things? Great stuff. Remember these things? These peachy folders were super popular for just about everybody in school back in the day, putting papers and stuff inside here, and just about everybody doodled all over them, scratching them up. Remember this old tennis shoe eraser? A lot of people had these back in the day at school. Remember this little W.C. Fields eraser? These were super popular back in the 70s when we were kids. Just about everybody was collecting them. They came out of Fritos, and they had different colors, and you put them on the top of your pencil, and just about everybody had one of these back in the day. I hope this and all the other items bring back some great memories for you.